Oh man. All right. What are we even doing here? We are talking about Walmart. We wanted to do an update. We were supposed to put a video out, what, 6 months ago? five,
Yeah,
5 months ago.
we were going to
We recorded a video just so everybody knows that we were gonna put out, and then my dumbass just kept it,
in the
just
vault.
hidden in a vault for months. And then we realized, what was it, several weeks back, like, oh, we never put that video out. But we wanted to talk about Walmart and what we thought, or where we think they stand in regards to physical media and what they've done in the past 6 months. With Best Buy no longer being in the space. Obviously, those days are already long behind us. It's crazy to think it's already been that long, 6, 7 months almost. Now we're in August of 2024. Best Buy announced it. What was it, like late fall of last year, that they were gonna? The rumors started going around that they were gonna discontinue physical media in the first months of 2024. And then at the same time, it was almost kind of simultaneous. Walmart. We had that news that they were trying to partner with the studios for the distribution service and trying to take over that to streamline that a little better. And then we were told that Walmart was pretty much going to, or it was assumed that Walmart was going to bolster their physical media presence.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're just going to have a little conversation here about where we think they stand. I know we each have our thoughts about it. We've probably each purchased some things from Walmart. I know I have for
Yeah.
sure. Chase, I
Mhm.
believe you have as well. So
Yep.
we may or may not showcase some of those. I got one item in particular that I want to talk about that I think was pretty cool, and I think showed a lot of people, especially like big collectors, that Walmart might actually be somewhat serious about what it is that they're going to be doing moving forward. So hopefully we see more of it, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. But Chase, I want to hand it over to you. What do you think? I mean, what did you think when Best Buy stepped out of the game and there was, talks about Walmart kind of, stepping in, or questions as to whether or not they were going to do that? What were your initial thoughts, going back 6, 7 months, and where do you stand now?
No, absolutely. So, I mean, it just kind of varies and differs between like which specific topic we're talking about. Like shipping packaging, I was hoping would be better. I was kind of blessed on that side of the river where I never had a bad Best Buy delivery throughout that entire
Mm,
time. I never had something damaged. So I wasn't too worried about it. I was just hoping I didn't start getting that luck when Walmart took over. And I'm pleased to say that, well, I'm still not the biggest fan of their packaging. They use this I keep my packaging sometimes. I don't have it, but they use like these weird, really thick cardboard. They don't use like bubble mailers or anything. So
yeah, I know
it's
what you mean.
unique. And every time that I open it, I'm like, oh my God, this is damaged and not a single scratch. I haven't had a
Mm,
bad delivery, but also at the same time, I have tons of Walmarts around me that have a great steelbook section. So
mm,
it's kind of replaced that Best Buy type of feel, even though I still prefer the nostalgia of going into Best Buy and having those dedicated rows. So something just can't capture that. They stay plenty stocked. Usually on day one, I can get most of the steel books that I want. I can get most releases, not all of them. As recently as I got Strangers Chapter One, there was another one, Civil War. Like they're pretty readily stocked on Tuesday when I want to go in there and see what they've got. I only really have one big complaint, and it's really the biggest difference outside of I do personally feel like Walmart has really I wouldn't say elevated the game because of my complaint, but I feel like they've stagnated it in a middle of the road type of way and not in a bad way because I feel like they've just upheld it. They've kept the supply going. Their prices are pretty astronomical, man.
mm.
Like a Silent Night steelbook came out at like $32. That same steelbook would have been no more than 19, 20, maybe $22 at Best Buy. And I
Yeah.
kind of miss that. You have like the Lionsgate version over here for 19 or 20, and then it's literally like $2 to $5 more for the steelbook. Not
Yeah.
that big of a difference. So that's my only complaint. Then I mean, you'll get they just released the Red trilogy a few months ago or a couple months ago on 4K, and it's $34 for 3 movies in a really nice steelbook packaging. But then you
Right.
have Expendables 1 through 4, and it's $70. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I know Walmart's not making the prices themselves. It's just the prices I don't notice a rhyme or reason. And it's not like Best Buy
Mm,
was perfect. you'd get those $22 exclusive steel books, and then you'd have a random $32 one out of nowhere that would just stay at $32, or the Marvel ones that would stay at 35, 38, or the DC ones until Black Friday.
Right.
So that's really my only complaint that I really have. Otherwise, the ease of access is there. At technically more locations I can go to because there's more Walmarts than there are Best Buys. So I'll give them an
Yeah.
upside on that. Shipping is good. Shout out Walmart Plus if you don't have it. This is not a sponsor. I've had a great experience with them. I've even had food delivered a few hours later because I just said, screw it, I'll try it. And I've had a good experience. Pre-order day one. And I also like how they take the money out immediately. They
Hmm.
don't take it out a day before or anything. I just want the money out and not to worry about it anymore, and then just be surprised like it's Christmas Day when I get my
Right.
movies.
Right.
Super nice. So, nothing but positives on my end. I definitely think there's wiggle room, especially since they do have such a good stake in the disc manufacturing business as well, which we've talked about on the podcast. I
Yeah.
think their prices could be a little bit more affordable, but I also think that this is a segment where they know that they're catering to a collector's market and they have such a huge chunk of the pie that it really doesn't matter. They can charge it and we're going to pay it, until it starts getting unreasonable. Most things are just
Yeah.
MSRP unless you find it in the clearance bin or the $5 bin saga.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree with you on the pricing. If
Yeah.
I were to go down a list of pros and cons, like I said, I've purchased, I want to say, a handful of titles from them in the past 3, 4 months,
Yeah.
and I got to say, I've been happy with all of them. They do have some lower priced steel books, but I believe the only ones I've seen under 30 so far that I've purchased are like the Vestron video steelbook
Yes.
releases
For 20.
that we talked about before,
Yeah.
which I believe they have like I think there's like 4 or 5 of them out by now. I
Yeah,
know I
there is.
got 3 of them. I got like it was like Lair of the White Worm, Shivers was another one,
The Gate.
The Gate,
Um,
which I think is newer
Kickboxer?
as well. Well, Kickbox no, I think
That's not Vestron.
Kickboxer wasn't Vestron, but Kickboxer was an exclusive to
Yeah.
Walmart, and it was one that was listed, for, I think, 19.99,
Yeah.
MSRP. So, they do offer some of those. Granted, those are Blu-ray, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, for a steelbook, $20, it's Blu-ray, it's not that bad. But
Yeah, yeah.
again, man, I agree with you. Nothing so far compares to those Best Buy Lionsgate steelbooks that you could sometimes get for like 21 to 23 bucks. I mean, some of
Yeah.
them, from what I remember, ended up being like 25.
Yeah.
Some one-offs here and there. But that's the only thing I would say is really not necessarily a negative, but something I'd like to see them improve upon is their pricing, especially to stay competitive. I mean, the advantage is if they keep a lot of their steelbooks exclusive, which it seems like they are. In fact, like Wind River, which is a movie that I really enjoy, with Jeremy Renner, um, is coming out, I think,
Mhm.
next month on
Yeah.
steelbook. That's a Walmart exclusive. I purchased the Walmart exclusive version of The Crow, on
Nice
steelbook,
steelbook.
and that was really cool. I really liked that design. I liked it better than the Amazon one or than the standard steelbook that they had out. So I think if they keep doing exclusives like that, Return of the Living Dead, another movie that's coming out,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's September or October, but it might even be the end of August. I got to double check, but they
It
have an
is, yeah.
exclusive steelbook for that that's coming out. So there's stuff that they're doing that gets me excited. I'm a big fan of Return of the Living Dead, so even though I already own it, I may or may not double dip on that. Haven't decided yet, but it's cool. Like I dig the artwork on it. So and the Wind River Steelbook looks really good.
It looks
I
awesome.
like what they did with the artwork on that. So that's a no brainer. That's a day one for me. Agree with shipping, although I haven't necessarily had anything shipped. I've picked up most of my titles, which is pretty cool. I've
Like
done the
in-store
store
pickup?
pickup auction. Yep.
Yeah.
And they bring it right out to the car. Sometimes you don't even
Yeah.
have to walk in there. So you just
Yeah.
go to the parking spot and they bring it right out to you. And I gotta say, man, you know, despite I somewhat miss Best Buy, but at the same time, I don't miss dealing with like the damages that I had with Best Buy. So far, knock on wood, I have had no damages with Walmart. It has
Yeah.
been pretty overall a pretty good experience. So,
Yeah.
um, on that front, as far as steelbooks are concerned, like no spine slashes, nothing like that, not even dents. I mean, and that's the thing, man. Like Amazon, I gotta
Still get
say,
issues.
Amazon, they still have issues with
Yeah.
damages, man, and they do not package them the way that they should. And you talked about Walmart's packaging being kind of weird, but at the same time unique. It works for whatever
Yeah.
reason. It
It
works, at
does.
least
Yeah.
so far it seems to be. And now, granted, store pickup they don't come in that packaging. They just bring it out in like the plastic case and then they undo it for you. But yeah, I think if they stick with the exclusives, they're gonna keep people going into stores. But one thing I wanted to talk about with you and actually showcase is the moment that this was released, the moment I heard about this, and then being able to snag it
Yeah.
miraculously, because I went to like 3 different Walmarts in my area,
And you found it?
and I found it,
Hell
and
yeah.
I've kinda kept it under wraps. I don't know if we've ever talked about it, but I
I don't
was
think we
able
have yet.
to snag the Terrifier 2 VHS
That's so cool.
double pack. So and this has been out for some time, folks. People have done reviews on this. There's other videos out about it. So I'm not going to go in depth about the packaging itself in the movie, but I'm a fan of Terrifier 2. It was one of my favorite movies of that year that it came out. I thought it was leaps and bounds better than the first Terrifier, just
Agreed.
to leave it at that. Excited for Terrifier 3. So that being said, to see Walmart carry something like this was pretty friggin' killer, dude. I gotta say. And I don't necessarily collect VHS that much anymore. It, it, we were just talking before we recorded, before we started the video. If I see something in the wild that I really like, that is in good condition, and it's for a decent price, maybe I'll pick it up. But otherwise, I mean, my days of, I guess you could say, collecting VHS tapes are over right now
Yeah.
anyway. Like, prices are too inflated for me
Yeah.
personally. I'd rather spend that money on Blu-rays or 4Ks,
Yeah.
upgraded formats if I can find them, if they're out there. So for me, unless it's something like this that's like a one-off that's like pretty cool, like I'm not really going to do it. But for them to come out with a movie like that on VHS was pretty cool and kind of
Yeah.
renews my faith that they're actually trying to do some cool things. Like I said, we're not going to see this that often. It's probably going to be a once in a blue moon kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to touch on how that came to fruition. We
Yeah.
know a
Yeah.
little bit about it. We have like,
Yeah.
my knowledge is green, but I know that they have the partnership with Bloody Disgusting that you
Yep.
kind of broke the news on within our community,
Yeah.
amongst the three of us. But why don't you talk a little bit about that? Because
Yeah.
if it's any indication, it might be a sign of some things to come in the future regarding some other titles. So,
Yeah. So one of the most lucrative things as a business, especially whenever you're in more of like the super convenience slash supermarket business like that, is your margins are already so marginal and low on so many things. So you've got to find things with high margins, low risk, high reward. Collectibles tends to be that thing.
hmm,
Probably the biggest thing to jog most people's memory with is the partnership with GameStop back in the day whenever they bought out the exclusive rights for ThinkGeek. They started opening up
yeah,
exclusive things, and that's why when you go into GameStop now, it's half games, half collectibles. It's because it's lucrative. You can sell a shirt for $20, somebody's going to buy it, and it probably costs you $1.50 to make. You know, so whenever you want to clearance it out for $5, it costs you next to nothing. Enter movies, Bloody Disgusting, Crunchyroll, all of that, because they have multiple different sections. They even have a Netflix partnership where you can find,
yeah,
like, I have some of them, like a little from Netflix's Pinocchio, where you could like take a theater in a box home and stuff, popcorn, everything. So this one in particular that we're talking about is for Bloody Disgusting, who owns Screambox. And
Screenbox, yeah,
Screambox was actually, or Bloody Disgusting is actually the ones that brought us Terrifier 2. They're the ones that produced that movie. That
hmm,
is a Bloody Disgusting movie. And so therefore, that's how it led to the product once Walmart and Bloody Disgusting kind of got in partnership. Because I mean, that wasn't a thing. It was $29.99 for that VHS, right? Or was it 40? I want to say it was like 30 to
Oh,
40.
God, I don't
Yeah,
remember. Yeah, it was like 30 to
yeah.
40, but I mean, dude, now it's going for higher. I've seen it going for like, I mean, the low end probably like anywhere from 55,
I
$60.
should have
But
bought it. I saw like
some
four.
people are selling it for more, you know.
Yeah, because I even called you. I was like, "Dude,
So,
they have the Terrifier 2 VHS," when I saw it pop up. But yeah, it's very interesting, and, the overhead for that is you already got the movies, you got the source material, you just need the physical material to put it out there. So it's
yeah,
huge overhead for them, and if demand's there enough, they'll keep doing those types of things. Just like I
right.
said, they have a Netflix and a Crunchyroll section, tons of anime merchandise. In that same section, they have Toxic Crusader action figures. It's wild.
Yeah,
They
it's
have, like,
crazy to think
Leatherface
about.
dolls. Yeah. So it's super lucrative. A lot of the ones near me, as I've been visiting them over the last couple weeks versus the month that popped up, they're getting really, really dry with what's in there. So hopefully it was a successful pilot and they're willing to do more with them, because the
Yeah,
collectible market is that's I wouldn't say that we're in the collectors only market, because it's a very, very passive hobby as well for some people. There's some people that tune into our content that have less than 20 movies. There's people that tune in into our content and have twice as many movies as me and have 2 or 3,000, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's very broad. You have very casual people, and then you have people that want to buy everything, right? And I
yeah,
think Walmart's trying to encapsulate on all of that. Okay,
yeah,
cool. You want to grab this movie? Well, okay, you just grabbed Texas Chainsaw from over here because we had the steelbook for some reason over here. Check out, we've got this plate and this doll over here, because the one over
mm,
there near me has like a Friday the 13th and a Leatherface plate. So it's
yeah,
kind of cool. So now you have this impulse rack that generates more revenue. So
yeah,
it's just kinda cool, and I'm here for it. I like it. I love horror stuff. Anime's cool. And, Netflix produces good content. So,
yeah. Yeah, to your point, and we were talking about horror before being out of all the genres, horror is the most collectible to begin with.
yeah, easily.
Physical media, it's a no-brainer. Like, people that love horror tend to have a horror movie collection, right? It's just one of
Yeah,
those things. It for whatever the reasons are there, for it is what it is. Horror is the most palatable genre to own on home video.
yeah,
So I think Walmart and Bloody Disgusting, I mean, they're smart to kind of tap into that, because there definitely is crossover with, collectors that with like merchandising and physical media in the horror genre, right? In
yeah,
particular. So it's like you and I, like I don't just own the movies, like I own some of the action figures, or like the NECA figures, and
hell yeah.
the busts and stuff like that. And like that stuff's cool. It's just, if you're a fan of something, especially horror, like people tend to have more than just horror movies. They tend to buy, like what was that? Like it's like a Leatherface plush or whatever the hell it is that
Yeah, I
they
got
got
it
in there.
right here. Yeah, I got it right there,
Yeah.
man. It
But
worked on
and
me.
not all that stuff is
Yeah,
like up my alley personally. Like it doesn't align with my taste necessarily, but I think they're smart to kind of tap into that and realize that, like, if people are going to go in there to buy horror movies, they're going to see that other merchandise sitting there and go, "Oh, hey, cool! I can get like a ghost face plush figure, and I can buy Scream on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever the case is." So yeah, man. So far, I think it's going well. I mean, hopefully it's going well on their end. I mean, we don't really have a lot of information in regards to how they're doing with sales. And that's been the one thing that I think we've been most curious about, is whether or not they're actually noticing an uptick in in-store traffic. Which, I mean, I would assume with Best Buy being gone, they have to. Like they
yeah,
must be getting those customers into Walmart now. They have to be,
yeah.
right? Because I mean, other than that, I mean, the only other retailers that are out there that are big enough are Barnes and Noble, which again, their selection's limited.
Mhm.
It's mostly Criterion, and like Barnes and Noble does have, surprisingly, at least the one near me, a lot of boutique stuff.
Yeah,
But that's it. I mean, Barnes and Noble tends to be a little more curated, but if you want like big studio releases and stuff like that, I mean, Walmart's really the place to go, other than Target. And
Target or, yeah, Amazon, if you're willing to have it
Target's a whole
shipped.
different story. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I'm talking
and
about as
Target's
far as
slim.
in store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Target's
Target's
slim,
very
like,
few and far between.
last time I was there, it was like a skinny bookshelf,
Yeah.
Like, it was just one row, and I was like, "Ooh." But
Yeah.
yeah, and I found some good deals there before, but I feel like, I know they cut down a lot, which was
Mm,
news around the same time Best Buy went out and
yeah.
pulled out of physical media, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're just down
Target.
to the holy Walmart, the
Yeah.
almighty Walmart, like the episode of South Park, whenever they have a Walmart that pops up in town.
Yeah. That's
Sing
awesome.
Kumbaya to Walmart.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, yeah, it's a kumbaya. Yeah, well, I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts to close it out, or Have
No,
you
I think
pretty
we
much
covered
said
all of them.
everything that's on your
Yeah,
mind? I mean, I'm optimistic. Like I said, the
I am too.
Terrifier 2, that sold it for me. When I saw that, I was like, "Yo, this is cool." That's gonna
Yeah,
bring a lot of collectors in, and again, it's kind of like a gimmick in that regard, because I mean, VHS is it's of the past, but I mean, it's nostalgia for a lot of people too. I think they're tapping into, not
yeah,
necessarily with Terrifier the movie itself, but the fact that they're offering like something like a VHS. So maybe that's something we see moving forward. If it is, I'd be curious to see which movies they choose to do that with. Maybe they'll do something unique with Terrifier 3 on the horizon too. So
hell
looking
yeah.
forward to that. But yeah, I think so far overall, Walmart, they're all mostly good on all fronts, other than the pricing. I think if there's one thing you and I agree on in
Yeah,
terms of what we would say is like not a negative aspect, but a con, so to speak, it would be that we just want to see them come down or cool off a little bit on some of the pricing for the 4K steelbooks because they are a little steep in my
yep,
opinion. But
I agree.
yeah. Yeah, guys, thanks for watching the video. Let us know in the comments down below if you guys have popped into Walmart, if you guys are buying anything from there. What are your thoughts? Are they doing a good job? Are they, you know, adequately replacing Best Buy in your eyes? Let us know in the comments. And as always, stay tuned for more content. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you guys
Do it
soon.
all.
Thanks for checking out the video.
Later.